I'm Amy,
And I'm Sarah.
and together,
We are unscripted.
that's right. So, for today's episode, we're going to be talking about sleep paralysis. Is it just a scientific phenomena, or could it be something more sinister? We're going to be talking about just the background of sleep paralysis, alien abduction, some stories that tie into that, or the good old fashioned demonic entity attacks during our sleep.
Mhm.
So, a little
That
bit.
sounds awesome. It's
It's
awesome.
creepy. It's creepy, and I love your little alien dude.
His name is Frank. Say hi, Frank.
Frank. See, you just made it less scary. Frank's
For
not scary. Frank's happy.
now.
For now, that's true. Until you go to sleep. Okay. So, a little bit of background on sleep paralysis. The scientific definition, anyway. It first became coined as sleep paralysis back in 1664. And I hope I don't butcher this name. I'm sorry, I'm trying. It was discovered by a Dutch physician named Isbrand van Dijmerbroek. I'm sorry. I'm very, very sorry. But he, like I said, he was a physician and he had a collection of histories, pretty much a collection of case stories of people who experienced this phenomenon. And it was called incubus or the nightmare. So this goes back a long time. People have been having these issues. So before the scientific term pretty much was coined as sleep paralysis, a lot of people just believe that the event was caused by demons or ghostly attacks. Different countries, they had different names for these attacks. So just a few of them, Newfoundland, they called it Old Hag, which when I
Hey, they're
heard it,
calling me out there. That's not fair.
oh, please, whatever. When I read that, it kind of made me laugh because it made me think, what did the stories like that go like? Oh, how was your sleep last night? Oh, the old hag came. You know what I mean? That's gotta be awkward. In Japan, oh gosh, I hope I'm not butchering this either. They called it kanashibari. China, it's considered ghost oppression. And I mean, there's several others, but I mean, there's like even depictions of this all the way back to Greek mythology. You can find it. There's a painting actually too in 1781 by Henry Fuseli, and it's considered to be just a depiction of sleep paralysis, which we'll put that picture in here for you guys to see. I didn't think it looked scary. Sarah didn't think it looked scary. I thought it just kind of looked like a normal
It
kind
looked,
of.
it looked like it was they were just in a trance of some sort. But
Yeah.
we'll put it up, and they can, our audience could decide for themselves if it's creepy.
Exactly. It was just pretty much an abstract oil painting, I think. But I mean, who's to say? I don't know. So kind of hard to see my notes here. Give me a second. But on the scientific side of it, there's a few stats from healthdirect.gov in Australia. And they say that 8 out of 100 people, so only like 8%, will experience it at some stage. But they said that it usually occurs between 20-year-olds and 40-year-olds. But you know what? There's contradicting statistics. Like I also, me and Sarah, we were talking about a New York Times article where they were talking about nearly half of all the people will experience sleep paralysis in all of its glory. So I'm betting that the stats are off because I mean, most statistics are you can't get all the numbers. So I think that I mean, there's probably some kids that have it, and there's probably elderly people, unfortunately, that get it as well.
No, I know there's tons of kids, tons of people who actually have had episodes of sleep paralysis. I mean, going down to ages 10 and up. I know kids who are like 10 years old and they've had it. So again, I think
Yeah.
numbers are a little off because it hasn't been studied in great detail enough.
Yeah.
Because nobody really knows exactly what it is. They just, they think. They think they know. And, it's something we may never know.
Yeah. I didn't look into like sleep studies about it, if they were done. Usually, I think sleep studies are done mostly just for like, sleep apnea or night terrors, maybe. But I feel like sleep paralysis, even though there's a scientifical, I made up my own word, scientific, no, it isn't scientifical. That's not a word.
I have no idea.
I didn't know there's
We're
scientific
gonna go with it.
word.
I like scientifical. We'll go scientifical.
Well, anyway, even though it's like more scientific, I think it's a word. If it's not, I'm sorry. I'm a little bit sleepy. um, I feel like it's more geared toward like the paranormal or supernatural, metaphysical side, if anything.
Mhm.
That maybe there's metaphysical groups that have done sleep studies, but I haven't looked
Mhm.
into that. So that's something that I might want to check. But anyway, so sleep paralysis, it occurs during REM sleep, which is the stage where you've got the rapid eye movement. And during this stage of sleep, the body becomes temporarily paralyzed. So your muscles shut down. And it's just, it's because part of that of your brain that controls your muscles is just resting, I guess. But the symptoms are terrifying. You can't move except for your eyes, usually. You can't talk. You usually feel this intense dread or fear, like maybe there's something else in the room with you. And a lot of people, they've had hallucinations where they've seen something in the room with them. I mean, I've had that too. I do
Mhm.
believe it was just like the
I'm getting
scientific.
goosebumps you talking about it.
Yeah, it's horrible. Anybody that's had it will tell you it is a horrible experience, and it of itself can it in itself can create insomnia because you don't it's almost like a Freddy Krueger thing. You're afraid to sleep because you don't want to
Mhm.
experience this, kind of attack. But I think the scariest besides hallucinating something in the room with you, or maybe I've seen something coming at me or crawling at me, um, the scariest symptom of it is like a feeling of something either pushing down on your chest or sitting on your chest, or people
Mhm.
have even explained it like something is choking them. So it
Mhm.
all, I
And
mean,
they can't breathe.
yes, exactly, which that's horrifying anyway. So,
Mhm.
some of the background with like what can cause sleep paralysis, they're talking about pretty much anxiety. If you're going through like a really high stress kind of time period in your life, it could be
A
anything.
bad breakup can do it.
It could be something, in your personal life. It could be you're going through finals in college or, high school. It doesn't matter. So high anxiety, stress, insomnia, of course, anything that can pretty much disrupt your REM sleep. Too much of alcohol or a poor diet can cause it. I mean, there's really no limit. I think everyone's different. Everyone's psyche is different. But there's some sleeping positions that they say that contribute to it as well, which I really believe in this, and it's sleeping on your back. Because every single time I've had it, pretty much, I think maybe one time, because I've had it a few times, unfortunately. Most of
Mhm.
the times that I've had it, 98% of the time, I was sleeping on my back. I'm a back sleeper. Lucky me. So
Mhm.
I don't like because
Mhm.
it's like I'll try to sleep on my side and I'll wake up on my back. I'm just like, what am I supposed to
Yeah,
do?
well, start sleeping more on your sides. No more sleep paralysis for you.
I
Become a side
tried, it
side
doesn't
sleeper.
work. But so I wanted to share like the one classic. I call it classic because I don't feel like it was anything else. At least not this episode that I had. So this was a long time ago, but I was sleeping on my back. I took a nap in between um classes for college. And I think it was finals week. I think we were doing testing and I was stressed out. So that kind of jogged my memory a bit with that when I read, some of the things that could happen, leading up to it. And so I was asleep. I took maybe a 30-minute nap. That's it. And when I woke up, like they said, I could not move. And I just remember thinking, why can't I move? Because I believe this was my first experience. I was probably 20. I mean, I'm still 20. No, no. But
We're both 20.
yeah. So I couldn't move. And I just remember thinking, well, that's weird. Am I still asleep? But then I couldn't really think about that too much because I realized, oh, hey, I can't breathe. So it literally, though, felt like somebody was sitting on my chest. Like, it wasn't even like oh, there's a little bit of a pressure. Like something was like pushing down or sitting on my chest. I thought, oh my God. And I remember being able to look around the room and um, I saw my mom's dog, Cookie. And she was just, she got up from her
Oh, I
nap.
love Cookie.
Yeah, I know. And she stretched. And I remember thinking, oh my God, nobody is here. It's just me and the dog, and I'm going to die. Like, the dog is going to be there just watching me die because I didn't know when I was going to be released, anything
Hmm.
like that. And I think I was finally able to like move a finger. And then once I
Hmm.
did that, I was able to kind of wiggle myself free and get up, and then everything kind of
Hmm.
resumed back to normal. But I remember thinking, what was that? It's
Right.
horrible, and I hated it. That was my first
Yeah, it sounds
experience.
terrifying.
But that's just the scientific aspect of it. Like those are just like what they dub as like the classic symptoms. Now, the thing that scares me the most is that sleep paralysis is incredibly common, but the experiences are not. What people see are not. And I want you to tell your
Mhm.
horrifying story because this just it's further proof that there's more to sleep paralysis than just a scientific definition. I
Oh
think
yeah.
sleep paralysis could be a common denominator for
Oh,
different
absolutely.
events.
Yeah, no, for sure. I know that I have had multiple sleep paralysis attacks. And there's more than just the scientific aspect of any of it. I am actually more of a circumcisional. There's things going on outside our world, cosmos, things like that. I always think that there's always like a higher being that's controlling these types of things, whether it be for the good of mankind or the ill of mankind. My worst experience ever, and this is going to sound crazy, but my worst experience ever, and it scared me to death, and this was years and years ago, and I was had to have been back in 2009. And I ended up having this, just couldn't sleep for some reason. I was having trouble sleeping, just going to sleep, period. But when I finally did fall asleep, I'm a side sleeper. I don't sleep on my back. I
Lucky.
hate sleeping on my back. I can't sleep on my stomach either because I'm afraid I'm
Yeah.
gonna suffocate myself.
Yeah. I know
But
me too.
but I'm a side sleeper. But for some reason that night I just could not sleep. And when I finally did, go to sleep, it had to have been around 2 o'clock in the morning when I was finally able to go to sleep. I was laying next to my husband in bed, and I had finally gotten my body to relax enough to go to sleep. Now I had been stressed out throughout the day. Everything
Okay.
was stressful. I had kids, I had work, I had school, I had, just a ton of things going on in my brain. I was really stressed out.
Right.
Um, I wasn't really feeling great, but I wasn't horrible. So I had like a cold or something. But I'm laying next to my husband. It's like 2 in the morning. And all of a sudden, I start hearing these weird noises. Now, I couldn't tell if I was actually asleep or not. I don't think I was asleep, but I could have been. But I couldn't move. I heard these like woo 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 sounds, like these whirring, like mechanical whirring sounds, and then I heard clicking. I kept hearing click 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 woo 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 click 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 woo woo woo. I didn't know what it was. And again, this is like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, what is going on? And then I realized that I can't move. I was able to move my
Yeah.
eyeballs to look at the clock, and at the clock said it wasn't 2 anymore. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. Go figure. The
3
witching
a.m.
hour.
exactly.
3 a.m. on the dot, and I'm hearing woo, woo,
Sorry.
woo, 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 click, 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 woo, 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 woo,
I
woo, click, click,
promise
click,
you,
click,
I
click.
promise.
Had no idea what the hell was going on. So I'm like, what is happening? And then I realized I was not able to move. I couldn't turn over. I couldn't move my head. I couldn't move my neck. I started panicking. I started freaking out.
Yeah.
I looked with the opposite side of my eyes, and I saw my husband was asleep next to me. I was trying to like call out to him. I couldn't open my mouth. I couldn't speak. And I just kept hearing these noises, and I'm like, what is going on here? And then to make it worse, after these noises, I'm already starting to panic. I can feel my heart's like pounding in my chest, like something is in the room with me. I had no idea what was going on. And then I was able to look down, just with my eyes, look down, and I saw, and this sounds stupid, I know you guys, trust me, I know. But I saw what appeared to be aliens in my room, okay? And it terrified me to my core.
How
Like,
many?
at first, it was 3 of them. There might have been a 4th one, but I couldn't move my head to see
Were they like
behind
all
them.
positioned around you?
Well, what happened was I'm laying like this way in bed, and my husband's over here, the clock's over here, and there was like one here at the foot of the bed, there was one here on this side of the bed, and there was one like right behind him on this side of the bed too, but they're like just looking at me.
Hmm.
And I could do nothing but look. And I'm freaking out. I couldn't even cry. I couldn't
Yeah,
even cry.
right.
And all of a sudden, I start, I see these things, and they're like, I can't even say they were gray. They weren't gray. They were like almost black, shadowy type figures. The only noticeable thing on them were like the almost like the bug eyes, and they weren't the
Mhm.
wraparound eyes like everybody talks about. They weren't
Yeah.
wraparound. They were literally like bug eyes, and they were just staring there. They were staring there. You could see little 2 holes here and then like a slit. And I'm panicking in a full blown panic, can't move. And then to top it all off, and this is what terrifies me, is I hear these things talking to me, but they're not moving their mouths. I can hear them telling me, stop, stop trying to pull away, stop doing that, you're okay, we're not here to hurt you. And they had these like weird like blurbs in their voices, the tone is weird, but their mouths weren't moving. And
They're
I'm
both
like,
telepathic.
I'm trying. It had to have been because I'm
Yeah.
sitting here and I'm trying to cry and I can't even cry out, and like I can feel my body starting to sweat because I can't move. And they're like, "It's okay. We're here to help. We're learning. It's okay." And then I start feeling like tapping on my body, just tapping. I can't move. It's tapping. I didn't feel any pain or anything
Well,
like that, but they're like tapping me and like
did you see
touching
like
me.
long fingers or anything?
I couldn't see anything.
Ugh.
I couldn't see anything but these faces and these eyes and the mouth. That's all I could see. I knew they were like gangly creatures, and they
Yeah.
had like bigger than average heads, but not like crazy average. They weren't like, Frank's head is like this. It was smaller than that.
And
And
were they
it was
tall?
terrifying. Huh?
Were they
No, they
tall?
weren't. They were only probably about maybe 4 feet.
Okay.
And there was one that was really strange because I did see one, and it didn't look like they had like dark eyes. It had like a lighter color eye instead of the big, the black bug eyes. It had more of like a grayish blue. It was weird, but
Contact.
like I said, I felt tapping. I felt like all this poking and pressure, and they're poking me, and I could felt like instruments, but they were like dull. It didn't hurt. There was no pain, and that had to last. I swear it lasted hours, but when I finally just closed my eyes again, because I was trying to tell them, stop, I'm scared. And I was trying to tell them with my head, and they could tell saying, you're okay, it's okay, it's okay. We've got you, you're fine. And we're just looking, we're learning. And that was it. And I closed my eyes, finally closing my eyes, because I don't know what else to do. I just kind of had to let it go. When I opened my eyes again, my body came back to normal.
Mhm.
And when I opened them again, they were gone. Everything was gone. I could move my hands. I could move my legs. I was panicking. I was breathing heavy. I was freaking out. And I had a pain in my side, like my rib cage. It was painful. Like, when you're struggling, you got a muscle ache and it
Yeah.
cramps up on you.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it felt like. So I woke up my husband, and I look over at the clock right before I wake him up, and it's like 3:05, 3:06.
I thought you were gonna say it was like 7 a.m.
No, it was like
Oh,
3:05, 3:06, and then I woke him up, and he told me I had a nightmare, go back to sleep. So I went back to
yeah.
sleep because I'm like, this is insane.
Thanks, babe.
I told him, I told him I would go back to sleep. I got up, got a drink of water, and I sat in the bathroom mirror for a minute, and I just like cried. I cried because I didn't know what had happened to me. And was I just imagining it? I don't know. Was it in my head? Possibly. I mean, I didn't have any marks or anything on me that I could tell, you know? And then the next morning, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, no, 7, I had to get the kids up for school. 7 o'clock, I'm up, and I just have this, 7 o'clock, funny. I have this, my alarm goes off, and I'm getting the kids ready for school, and I just have this emotional breakdown, and I just start bawling at 7 o'clock in the morning. Again, I had no idea what was going on. I was exhausted because I hadn't slept, you know? And the craziest part about this entire thing was That next day, 7 a.m., after I took the kids to school, I got 3 different notices from hospitals wanting me to donate my blood to them. I'm Rh negative, so I'm O negative blood. I've always been asked to be a donor for a long time. I've been donating blood. But the fact that 3 in one day messaged me and then called me that very next day after all this, asking me to come donate my blood, it freaked me out. And
Hmm.
I didn't do it because I was sick as hell the next day. Really, really
Wow.
sick. So
Well,
then,
hold on.
a few months,
Do you think that you were just sicker because you had already had the cold, or do you think the experience made you more sick?
I think the experience played a huge role in it. I honestly think the experience is what caused the sickness to get worse. Plus, the panic and the stress can
Yeah.
make a person physically ill.
Yeah.
So I think that had a big portion of it, the reason for that. A few months later after that, and that was my story of like the whole sleep paralysis thing, but it was an alien like abduction type story. But a few weeks to maybe a month later, I was having pain in my side still. Had no idea what was going on. I had found a lump in my side. I didn't know what it was. So I went to the doctor, and it turns out that I had some lipomas in my ribs that were causing me some pain.
What is that?
And I could, huh?
What is that?
A lipoma is
It's like a
like
cyst?
a fibroid tissue cyst type thing, but it
Gotcha.
was causing me a lot of pain, to the point where it was like pushing up against my ribs.
Mm.
So they had to go to surgery and remove the lipomas from pushing against the ribs. They were probably about that big, and I had to
Wow.
get 3 of them removed. And one of them on the, I want to say, the left side rib, like
Where
just
you had the
under it,
pain. Hmm.
where I had the pain, they took it out, and when they biopsied it, they found and this is incredibly cool. They found this little piece of like metal, like almost like a sliver or like a splinter, but it was metal
Like pencil
inside
lead?
this like, huh? Yeah,
Like
it
the
was like,
pencil
okay,
lead?
mechanical pencils,
Yeah, that's what I was
the little
thinking.
lead. It
Hmm.
was probably like tiny little piece of lead in it. When they biopsied it, they found it, and they had asked me if I had gotten into a car accident recently or
Yeah.
some
It's like
shrapnel might have gotten,
shrapnel,
caught
yeah.
in there.
Hmm.
And I had not had any accidents, no shrapnel, nothing whatsoever. So
Ooh,
the
that's
fact that they pull
creepy.
out this
Oh,
lipoma and they find that this little metal thing is inside this lipoma, plus the two other ones that they pulled out were okay, but that was one little piece of metal that was in there. I have no idea where it came from. To this day, I have no idea where it came from. So
well, I
that
do.
just, huh? Well,
I
I mean, I know that
well,
aliens are the reason for it, but
I
I've
wonder
been
what
believing in
it
aliens
was.
forever. Huh?
I wonder what it was, like a tracking device or like a
I
little
have no idea. They couldn't identify it. They couldn't identify it. They said that they've never seen anything like it before. It wasn't like the normal, like car shrapnel or anything. They don't know what it was. It was a weird metal sliver thing. They don't know what it was. They
they
wouldn't,
either
they
sent it
wouldn't,
off to the government
they
or
didn't even give me pictures of it.
I
I
was
asked
gonna
them for
say they
pictures.
either did
They
that
told
or
me
they
no.
threw it away.
Yeah, no, I asked them, like, can you show me a picture of what was in there so I can
Oh,
see it? And they said, no, we're not going to be able to give you pictures of it. We already threw it away or something. No, they didn't.
the
They
men in
didn't.
black
They
got
didn't do
it.
that. They sent it out. And to this day, I still have no idea what was inside that lipoma. But that is my story of sleep paralysis, and mine is because of alien intervention. And the Rh negative factor
Yeah,
is
yeah.
alien blood. Where does Rh negative blood come from?
Well,
If we don't
explain
come
what
from,
is RH negative anyway? Because my
well,
mom is RH negative, and I'm not because when she was pregnant
RH
with me, she had to have a shot.
Yeah, that's the rhesus factor. So RH stands for Rhesus, or the rhesus monkey, which most of humanity comes from the rhesus monkey sapien group.
Hmm.
Okay, so we all come from some type of rhesus gene, which
Right?
is a monkey. But there's a few of us, probably about 15% of us, who do not have that rhesus gene. I'm one of them. I'm O negative. My mother was also an O negative. Well, she was a negative. We don't know if it was O, but I was O negative. But with my brother, she had to have what we call ROGAM shots. When I got pregnant with my kids, I had to have ROGAM shots because none of my kids had the negative blood. They all have positive blood. So what was happening was my Rh negative blood and their positive blood were fighting. And my actual blood could have killed the fetus, the babies.
Mm-hmm.
So when we are diagnosed with the Rh negative factor, women specifically have to have shots to prevent miscarriages and have to be given, shots to prevent the fetus from being attacked or the fetus from attacking the mother. So nobody on this planet knows what this Rh negative thing is. They don't know where this blood comes from.
Not
It
monkey
is an
blood.
it's an extraterrestrial alien blood. They still have no idea where it comes from. Now, from what I've learned in my own research, Rh negative blood is alien in origin. Again, because we don't know if it's actually extraterrestrial alien, we don't know. But it
Right.
is alien in general. So we don't know where it comes from. That's hence the term alien blood.
Right.
So
Oh,
my
no.
question, huh?
My
You
phone.
okay?
I
Oh,
only got
my
5%.
question, my question is, where did my blood come from, and why on that specific night
Hang on, let
did
me
they?
put I
Those,
gotta plug my phone up. Let me switch a charger really quick. I'm so sorry, I did not look at this. Hold on 1 second. I'll get right back to it. That long charger. I did not see this coming. Oh, man.
yeah. So no, like I said, my thing is just trying to figure out where did my blood come from? Who am I? Where do I come from? If I'm not from the Reese's Monkeys, where am I coming from? My theory is I come from some type of lizard person, because I don't think they've done enough research
Oh,
on lizards and
I'm so
huh?
sorry. I'm so
I don't
sorry.
think they.
Ugh, hold on. My phone is like acting really weird. Hold on 1 second. Oh, we're gonna have to do it like this for a second, okay?
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I just
Hold on.
don't think. Yeah, I don't know where I come from. So I think it's some type of like lizard people or something. I don't think there's enough research to identify it. I'm going to continue to figure it out though. And once I do, I'm going to be
Oh.
rich when I figure it out.
Truly. Oh my gosh.
Hmm.
Well, since we
So,
only have a few minutes, I might be able to get back on camera and just talk about the remaining. And if it starts to die, then well, it is what it is. Oh, I know. I can charge it into my computer. Sorry. I did not foresee this. Ah, all right. Trying this again. Give me a second. I'll get it. Maybe. Maybe not. Nope, can't do it that way. Well, leave it to me to have. Leave it to me to have this issue. Ah, whatever. Okay, getting back on here. Hopefully you can see me.
hmm,
Kind of. Things are getting kind of weird.
we can see you.
Whatever. I tried. Think everything's messed up.
But yeah,
Man.
so now we just got to go lead this into our next and final topic.
Yeah, so the last portion of the sleep paralysis thing, I think so there's actually a documentary on Netflix. It's been around for a while. It's called The Nightmare. And they talk about sleep paralysis and pretty much if it's, a demonic kind of attack, people they claim they see like, the Hat Man, which I've never seen the Hat Man, but my brother has. So there's
Hmm.
definitely something to that. That'll be for one of our upcoming pods that we're
Hmm.
gonna do. But there's just the idea of, especially when you said you woke up at 3 a.m. Even though I do believe yours was alien in nature, what about the people that wake up, at 3 a.m. and they maybe see like a demonic figure in their room and they're
Right.
convinced or this is not a hallucination. Like what
Hmm.
like they're able to move, you know? So yeah, I think I had something quick on that because then I have a really creepy story to share.
Okay.
Nope, it's not there. Hang on. so prepared for this. I am glad. Phone's
It's all
dying.
good.
Got my
Like I
notes
said,
all
there's so many different stories that come in contact and have lots of correspondences with sleep paralysis. It could be demonic, it could be alien, it could be, just mental health wise. There's just so many different ideas that can or reasons that sleep paralysis can cause, to be in so many people.
right. So, what I was going to say, this is going to be on one of our upcoming pods about alien abductions. Like, we're going to get into like actual abduction cases. Um,
Oh,
and
by the way, if you all have alien stories, send them to us at
please,
unscriptedparanormal@gmail.com. We want to hear
please,
it.
yes, we do. Because one of the things that I think is so interesting is that there are statistics that say that a lot of these abductions, they tend to run in families. They tend to follow families. So, but we're not
And
going
they
to get into
do.
that. Yeah.
They
So we'll get
do.
into that.
Just know.
It's fact. We're telling you right now, it's fact. But for the creepier side of the sleep paralysis, the entity version, anyway. So my friend, he shared this story with me. This actually happened, I think it was like 2 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. Don't kill me, sorry. But it wasn't recent, but it doesn't matter. So his wife has a history of almost night terror kind of symptoms. So she would wake up in the middle of the night.
They're stuck.
Um, yeah, I'm saying I used to have them when I was like 10.
I
But
still have.
yeah, it's awful. So his wife would have these episodes where she'd be like crying out in her sleep. And he said, first it scared the hell out of him because, he didn't know what was going on. And, he'd, just kind of let it be. And, he wouldn't tell her, oh, by the way, you were screaming. He didn't want to freak her out. So good call. But one time, not too long ago, either 2 or 5 years ago, what had happened was he was asleep and he said he woke up and he couldn't move. It was like a sleep paralysis thing. And he was just like, okay, can't move. What am I supposed to do here? And after a few minutes, he was finally able to like break free and move. And when he did, he looked over at his wife and there was this black shadow thing, like a creature looking thing, crouched on her chest.
Mm,
And
that's crazy.
when he told me that, I had chills. I was like, what was that? And I mean, I don't know if she was experiencing, sleep paralysis at that time or, because he said that she was asleep, but, and since it was a while ago, I don't know if, she woke up
Hmm.
the next morning not feeling well or she had headaches or, any kind of recollection of maybe she just had a bad nightmare. She was being chased, like how she
Hmm.
had these nightmares before, where like she was screaming like something was chasing her. It makes
Hmm.
you wonder, was that thing on her chest responsible for those dreams before? Or was this
Oh,
like
I'm
a
sure
one-off
it had to
event?
have been.
Or was
It
this
had to
thing
have been.
on him? And then after he was able to break free, it jumped on her. Like what happened? But to me,
Why didn't he see it on him if that was the case?
that's what I
That's.
thought too. That's what I
Hmm.
thought too. But he felt the presence of something on his
Hmm.
chest. So I'm wondering, do we always see it or do we just feel it? I mean, we are
True.
in that REM state potentially, whether it's demonic or just the
Hmm.
scientific version. Like
Hmm.
our eyes are still, we're in like that hallucination, half awake, half asleep state. So you would think that we would see it if we can see something like moving in the corner of our room or whatever, but
Hmm.
I don't know. But when he told me that, I was like, okay, sorry. That is not sleep paralysis, my friend.
No,
That was
that's
something
something
else.
causing it, maybe.
Yeah. So I don't know. But that wraps up my stories
Hmm.
for this topic. I'm sure this is something we can always do like another deep dive into because
We
there's
can
so
definitely
many aspects.
revisit this.
Yeah, I think we
Absolutely.
have
We have
to.
to revisit it. Absolutely, yeah. Agreed. Because there's just too many, there's too many coincidences. And I know that the people who watch this, our viewers, they probably have tons and tons of their own sleep paralysis stories and their, assumptions and reasonings behind them, which we really want to encourage all of you guys to please
Yeah.
reach out to us because we want to know and we want to hear your story. And if you are okay with it, we'll share share it with our podcast viewers here if you're okay with it. Of course, we can do it
Yeah.
anonymously, but we would love to hear your story. It's always nice to have like-minded individuals come together in a safe space to talk about, what goes on in their lives. There's more to life than just, you know, what the norm is. There's something out there, and I want to
Mhm.
delve in deeper to figure out what that is, whether it be
Ooh,
aliens,
you know what
demons,
I didn't
monsters.
do?
Huh?
You know what I forgot to do really quick before we
Huh?
get off here? I found what is this? I found a Reddit story I thought was really, really creepy, kind of like my friends, but
Okay.
not quite the same. I was going to read it really
Cool. Let's hear
quick.
it. Yeah.
So the person on Reddit, I won't say who it is because there's so many of them and it's public information, but this person on Reddit, they said, I woke up to teeth and eyes staring at me from the ceiling once, like pearly white teeth. It looked at me like it had been searching and was glad to have finally found me. Gave a look of surprise and smiled really big. I didn't realize I was shrieking, but my mom opened the door and turned on the light. And of course, it was gone when the light turned on. I was pointing at the ceiling when I got my wits about me. I was mostly afraid because when the thing went away, it wasn't because I opened my eyes. They were already open.
Oh,
And that gave me chills.
creepy.
Ugh. Like, what was that? Because
No.
they were experiencing the same thing. They couldn't,
Mm-hmm.
move. They couldn't like breathe. It was just like, and then finally,
They
so
see
it
this
makes you
thing
wonder.
like here. Oof,
I'm
creepy.
saying, I think there's something to it. There's definitely
Mm-hmm.
something to it. I mean, I don't think it's just like, oh, I had, the old hag visit me, or you know what I mean? It's not like I just had sleep paralysis last night, or it's, there's different, kind of like if you have like an anxiety attack. That's the only way I can really like
Mm-hmm.
what I can equate it to. Like people go to the hospital thinking they're having a heart attack, and they're like, no, you actually just had a panic attack. Like the
Mm-hmm.
symptoms overlap, but they're
Yeah.
so scary and they're very serious to you that you want to find out, is this something serious? And I mean, for sleep paralysis it is. I mean, you can't breathe, you can't move. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what's going on? Is it just, are you stuck in between this REM sleep, or is there something else
Yeah.
to it?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. So no, I agree. All right, everyone. If you like what you see and you like what we're doing, please check out our YouTube video, Unscripted YouTube with Amy and Sarah. You'll see us. You'll see all our podcasts up there. Feel free to reach out, comment, like, subscribe. And if you really do like and enjoy what you're hearing, please share it with your friends so we can bring in that community, a very big community of horror lovers, creepy lovers. And let's just get this thing to take off. I really want to get to know you guys. We both really want to get to know more people like us. So, yeah. So if you like what you see, let us know. Give us a thumbs up, a like, subscribe, share, and don't forget, you can also check us out on Spotify, Instagram, TikTok while it's still up, and I also created a Facebook page for us, Unscripted. All these things are available for you guys to reach out. And then again, any stories you have, unscriptedparanormal@gmail.com. We want to hear from you. So until next time, I'm Sarah.
and I'm Amy. Keep it creepy.
Keep it real.
Bye.
Bye.